Oh,
We're live.
good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Brian and Carrie in the morning.
Or good afternoon or good evening, depending on where in the world you are right now.
That was like from the Truman Show. What are you doing?
Oh, that's not on right.
Well, we're about to find out.
We're
It
going to
looks
find
good. I bet you looks fine. Well, there it is. I see us. We're great. We look great. We look stellar. Well, let me tell you, today's show is all about this. How to stop procrastinating and overthinking.
Yay.
In 3 painless steps. What are the painless steps? Number 1, know your ego role. Number 2, increase self-awareness. And number 3, flip the gap. I wonder what that means.
I wonder, Brian.
That's so interesting.
I wonder if we're going to find out.
We're probably going to find out. So with that, good morning.
Good morning.
This is our pre-show.
Steve, look at you, Steve. Steve has been up since like something like 4:15 this morning, driving to Milwaukee.
Wow.
Or something like that.
That's not a hugely far drive. Well, no, wait. He's in Brookfield. So that's a pretty good, that's like a 2-hour drive.
Really? That's longer than I thought it was as well. Who did we used to know in Milwaukee? Was it BJ Gaddour?
BJ Gaddour.
There you go.
BJ Gaddour is a good friend of ours. He works for Men's Fitness magazine. As a matter of fact, last month he was the cover photo on Men's Fitness magazine. So we're kind of a big deal because we know important people.
To which I went to the store one day and our friend BJ's like on the cover and I snapped a picture of him on the newsstand and sent it to him because it was funny to me.
Right? Cecily, Dana Powell, Mama Draps, Mona.
Good morning, everybody.
Hour and a half to 2 hours for Steve Montefinesse and Kelsey.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry you're sick,
not
love.
feeling well, Kelsey. I hate being sick as
That
well.
is
You're
no
not
bueno.
alone.
Good morning there, Brian Bag of Brains. I like that guy.
I love Brian Sackler.
I like that guy.
I love everyone. The first 2 and a half.
I love everyone.
Oh, you guys have snow. That's right. See, this morning, 2.5, first snowstorm of 20. It's the first snowstorm for Chicago this year?
Yeah, and he's talking about feet.
Wow.
Yeah. 2.5 feet.
You should have stayed home, Steve.
Milwaukee can be at a later date at 2.5 feet of snow. I'm just saying.
You know, everybody's
Hello,
talking
Louise.
about the snowstorm.
Lynette. Good morning, Sandy. I love her. Good morning, Stacy.
Oh, 2.5 hours in the first snowstorm.
Okay.
Thank God, because that's a lot.
No,
of snow.
look, I lived in Chicago for 12 years. I saw 2.5 feet of snow drop.
Yeah, well, of course.
I mean, it's not like that uncommon. Lake Michigan, the effect, it's gnarly.
Okay, what is everybody talking? So, Mona, if I'm not mistaken, Mona's here in Montreal. Are we getting some massive snowstorm that we don't know about? Because we Googled it.
Yeah.
And it's like it's announcing like flurries or something like that. Like, is there a massive snowstorm coming?
Like, and we live in Mount Tremblant, and as you can see behind us, it's actually kind of nice here. It's not snowing at all yet.
I'm so curious. We're going to wake up to a blizzard.
Since mid-December. Cecily, what do you mean?
25 centimeters.
Of snow?
Maybe they're getting it. You know, I know that we live up in the mountains, but is it a possibility that we're not getting it? Montreal's getting it.
Well, look at that. Tiffany in Connecticut is getting 18 to 24 inches. That's a lot. That's what she said.
We're supposed to go to Montreal tomorrow. I don't know about this with a blizzard. We may have to rearrange that.
Yeah, I don't want any blizzards. But no, it's true, because we live in the mountains, so you automatically think because we're north and we're in the mountains that the weather's way worse up here. But truth be told, the weather system is coming from the eastern United States.
So it's going to hit Montreal first.
So it's going to hit Montreal, but then we get cover from the mountains. Right?
Yeah, where's my mountain at?
Where my mountain at? Yes! Oh, it's going to start at 2 p.m. today.
I'm like, well, you know what? All I'm going to say is the kids did not have a snow day. They made it to school.
Right.
On the bus.
Good morning, Billy. Good morning, Kelly Goldowski, my home skillets. Billy, looking forward to seeing you this afternoon. This is Brian and Carrie in the morning. I love the show.
It is.
Today, how to stop procrastinating and overthinking in 3 painless steps. Know your ego roles, increase self-awareness, and flip the gap. You gotta stay tuned.
I can't wait.
By the way, we're going to earn this. You know we're going to earn it, so share this shit. Share it.
Can I tell a little story?
Yes.
So you remember how Brian yesterday was talking about the whole I didn't sleep all night and he let me sleep in the morning?
Yeah.
This morning we had another funny little clusterfuck.
We did.
Because, it's really kind of cute. I sleep with earplugs in my ears so I look like Shrek because of...
She looks way cuter than Shrek.
Because Brian snores.
I don't really snore. I kind of like a little baby bear.
We've got baby bear, papa bear, mama bear, and grandpa bear, depending on the day. But so I sleep with earplugs in my ears, and we also have a fan going in the room very recently. So Brian woke up this morning earlier than me, before the alarm, and I stayed in bed, but the earplugs drowned out the alarm. So Brian just assumed that I had decided to sleep a little bit longer. So at 7 o'clock he wakes me up and I'm like, what's going on?
Why did we not have morning time again? I did morning time by myself today.
Well, I did it just before the show. So I sat and did morning time.
Good morning, Frank. Steve Montefinesse breaking out the That's What She Said jokes. You gotta love that. Michelle Lee, woo!
I want to Baumholtz. Frank, that's a great last name. Baumholtz.
Right? I call you Bomber.
Frank, could you tell
us?
I
have a blueberry seed in my tooth.
I hate it when that happens. Frank, what is the lineage of your last name? I'm very curious.
German.
Do you want to guess?
German.
Baumholtz.
Austrian.
I'm guessing, I don't know. I'm so bad at this game.
Our monitor just told me that Karen Roberts just shared our video. Thank you for that, Karen, but I haven't seen you yet. So good morning.
Say good morning to us, Karen.
Good morning, Marcy Williams. Flavo's here. Good morning, Michelle Adams. By the way, where my crew at?
Crew. German.
Yes, German. Got it right the first time.
Is that what you said?
I said German and Austrian.
Apparently I'm
Which is almost like the same thing.
Probably not if you're German or Austrian. I suspect it's not the case if you're German or Austrian.
That's like every time. You know what's funny? I got a message on this is related to that. I got a message on Facebook from somebody in the UK.
Okay. Saying,
my wife and I do a lot of work in mindset, and we're both massive fans of you and Carrie. We watch your show. They might be watching right now. And we'd love to have you as a guest on our podcast. Let's arrange it. So I said, great. Nice to meet you. Thanks for the kind words. Really appreciate it. And he got back. He said, oh, this is great. My wife and I are so excited. UK's power couple and the United States' power couple on the same podcast. So I wrote back, well, actually, we're Canadian. He was mortified.
Really?
He's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
You're kind of American.
No, I'm not. I am American.
Well, no, but yeah.
I'm an American citizen. But the point is that, I love how people that border between Canada and the United States. So many people in the rest of the world think it's like you're offending us massively if you call us American. I love America.
I love Canadians and I love Americans.
I love everybody.
I don't understand. And Louise,
yes.
Louise, I love your random question. What we had for breakfast? I had
nice.
Oatmeal with chia seeds on it.
Yes,
that was what I had. And Brian had a lot of meat.
I had a lot of everything. I had organic ground beef with some organic sausage, a couple pieces of Ezekiel bread. Then I had a protein shake with some vanilla protein powder, a whole shit ton of spinach, along with some frozen blueberries, and a little of my, a tablespoon of my chlorophyll green shit that mostly tastes like grass. But when you put it in with the vanilla and the blueberries, you can't taste it.
I think what he meant was ass.
No, it tastes like grass. It does. It tastes like you just picked up earth and ate it. But I think if it tastes like the ground, it's probably good for you. That's the rationale.
So that's how you got a piece of, whatchamacallit stuck in a blueberry seed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Caitlin's having a croissant, which makes me think of Chase. So
Chase, our son.
Our son Chase he's a very quiet kid when you're in large groups with him.
Yeah.
But he is the funniest human being next to Brian.
Oh, he's hysterical.
And I
am the funniest though. It's true.
His word right now is he literally, I don't even know if he got this from somewhere or if he just decided to make it up.
Yeah.
But he just walks around and he's like, croissant.
Oh, he got it from a video.
Did he?
Croissant.
He says it all the time. It's
Non-stop.
so random. Liquid earth.
Sandy likes my breakfast minus the bread. Sans the bread. She's very French. Steve says it sounds like a weightlifter's meal. Yes. Marcy wants to know is that all I ate? That's funny. You've eaten grass before. Well, when I was a kid.
I ate grass when I was a kid.
Didn't everybody do that? I feel embarrassed now.
When I was a kid, I ate everything.
I tried. You know what? When I was a kid, I pretended I was a connoisseur of leaves.
You know?
I did. I would show my friends, you can eat leaves from this tree, but not that tree. Now that I think about it, I was eating fucking leaves.
It was probably not smart to do, because some of the stuff in nature is poisonous.
Yeah, and some of it's got caterpillar poop on it.
That would be the least of my concerns.
It would not. It's a big concern for me. Caterpillar poo. Who wants that dung in their mouth?
You know, you guys,
really?
I have to ask, those of you watching today, who ate dirt as a kid? Did you ever put... I can still remember when I ate my only handful of dirt because I didn't do it again after that.
Right.
You put it in your mouth and in the first second you're like, that was the stupidest idea I have ever had.
But you know what? There's an article that came out recently in the Toronto Sun or Toronto Star. It said that kids need dirt, not antibiotics, in order to enhance their immune systems.
Oh, don't even get started on that.
I love the fact that science is catching up to what every sane adult has known for the last 100 years. Put kids on the ground, rub their face in the dirt, cover them in grass, feed them rat poo. That's how they get healthy. Don't give them meds.
I'm going to go on a little mini soapbox on that because I know we're about to kick off. But so having worked with kids for like 12 years and having my own kids, our kids have got the healthiest immune systems of any child we know.
They don't get sick.
They never get sick. I think Chase got a stomach flu for the first time a year and a half ago.
Right.
And they're just both never sick, right? And I am convinced that the reason is because I was not a fanatic about Excuse me.
Wow, a little burp there.
I was not a fanatic. It was a hiccup. I'm not a fanatic about germs when they were babies.
You gotta get kids dirty.
They got dirty. They ate stuff. They whatever.
Exactly.
They were good.
Do you agree? How can you not agree with that? Anyways, good morning. This is Brian and Carrie. In the morning, we're live five mornings a week from the beautiful Mount Tremblant, Quebec, right here where we're sitting.
Indeed.
Mount Tremblant is right there. Look at it.
You can still see it.
And it's gorgeous today. We go live at 10 a.m. Eastern every single morning, but our pre-show starts at 9:50. That's when you should log in because that's when all the fun happens, including today, talking about eating grass and dirt. And the fear of putting caterpillar dung in your mouth. That was also a bit of a topic this morning. Anyways, today's show is all about how to stop procrastination and overthinking in 3 painless steps. We're going to detail those steps for you, answer your questions, have a grand old time. And before I get started, I must say, where my crew at? Crew. Yes. Right on.
Hi, Scott and Jamie, by the way.
Yes, Monica's here, Headkey's here. Look at that.
Steve says it's a great topic, and I want to say, because everybody can relate to procrastination in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and if you can't, you're lying. I'm going to call you a liar.
If you think, I would have been the first one years ago to tell you that I don't relate to procrastination because I didn't think I did procrastinate.
Right.
But even as I'm sitting here thinking right now, I can tell you right now, 7 years ago, or even 10 years ago, I would have procrastinated on doing my paying my bills.
Yeah.
Because if I paid my bills, man, I had to look at my finances, and I didn't want to look at my finances because that stressed me out because I had no money.
Yeah.
So I would just not do it, right? I didn't recognize that as procrastination at the time.
Sure.
But now that I look back, it was absolutely procrastination.
Well, it's more classically, I suppose we could call it avoidance behaviors.
Right.
Because procrastination is what a lot of people think of as it's benign. It's like... we like to think of ourselves as ambitious go-getters, and we never procrastinate. Right. But if you don't think you have avoidance behaviors, you really are lying to yourself. And you're probably not doing it on purpose, and you shouldn't get upset with yourself for it. But we're going to show you what this is all about and how to kind of undo it all in 3 very, very painless steps. So, are you ready? I want to see some hearts. I want to see some comments. And I'd love you to know that we're going to earn this. So share it out right now if you could.
Yeah, and I would, after you're done sharing, I would like to know if you feel up to sharing with us, what is the area that you procrastinate on in life?
Yes.
So we can get a gauge on it.
Let's get those comments rolling right now, because Carrie revealed, I love that reveal, by the way, that you'd procrastinate on doing your bills. Yeah. Because it would force you to have to look at your finances. There wasn't any money there. That didn't feel very good. Mm-hmm. So we avoid things that don't feel good. The pain-pleasure syndrome in the human complexity is absolutely, it's monstrous. Yeah. We avoid pain at all costs. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, on the other side of pain is what we need.
Yeah.
On the other side of pain is our success.
Yeah.
On the other side of pain is our happiness. Mm-hmm. We have to kind of walk through little shit sometimes to get to the rainbow. Yeah. And that's just the way it is.
It reminds me, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. We were talking about the whole... jumping off the cliff, that you don't really fear the fall, you fear the jump. Yeah. It's the same thing with procrastination. We're avoiding whatever it is that we're, procrastinating from. I'm avoiding doing my bills.
Sure.
Not because I'm afraid of actually getting into it, but just because I'm afraid of what the projected outcome's going to be.
Sure.
There has not been one time where I've been procrastinating and then finally sat down and was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to do this. That by number one, it took less time than I expected.
Every time.
And by the time I was done, I was like, what the heck was I waiting for? Yeah. I should have done this 3 months ago.
There are some great comments. Steve Montfinesse, I procrastinate on the big tasks at work. I focus on the quick hit stuff. Mona says, making phone calls and work. Marcy, this is a great comment. I procrastinate in a lot of areas of my life. It makes me feel like I need to be on meds. What a great, honest, vulnerable comment. You do not need meds.
Yeah.
Can I just say that clearly? Marcy, Flava, you do not need meds. Procrastination, overthinking is an avoidance behavior. It's not uncommon. It happens to all of us. We're just going to reveal these 3 simple, painless steps for how you kind of stop that.
Right.
In general, right?
Absolutely.
So are we killing this so far or what?
Well, I think we're killing it. But,
Right?
I might be a partial party.
Well, let's start with number 1. Okay, what is the first painless step? We call it your ego roll. And now if you remember, if you were around last week, or it might have been the week before, we taught in brief summary the concept that we created called bound nature versus free nature, right? Bound nature, free nature, they're not defined. One's not good, one's not bad. The way we define them, the way we try to characterize them is that bound nature is non-serving. Free nature is serving. So generally speaking, inside of free nature, we have things like joy, happiness, fulfillment. Not the superficial aspects of those, but the real aspects, right? And in bound nature, we have things like envy, jealousy, anger, frustration, fear, anxiety, worry. Those are all in the bound nature category. So the first step to unlayering why you're overthinking, why you're procrastinating, why you're kind of using avoidance behaviors is to simply answer this question: what am I afraid of? Because you're overthinking based on an energetic bottleneck. Right. You're overthinking based on a fear that you probably don't have complete conscious understanding that you have.
Yep.
Now, more often than not, when I say you don't have complete conscious understanding, you have an idea. Okay, Carrie's example was brilliant, and it's one we can probably all relate to. She did not execute with any degree of ambition, paying her bills necessarily on time, because she didn't want to look at her finances. There's an anxiety in finances when you know you don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? So that is the easiest, most ridiculously simple step 1. What is the primary bound nature or ego role that's creating the bottleneck? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it worry? And if so, of what? Yeah. That's where you start, right? That's where everything starts, is addressing what's holding you back.
Right, absolutely. I just thought of another one as you were talking. And I actually bet you that I think that everybody can relate to the common ones, like paying my bills, doing my work, looking at my calendar, doing the dishes. I think Tiffany mentioned that. We can all relate to those ones because they're rather common. But like I just thought about, because there's someone on here actually who made me think about this, but are you procrastinating in your love life? So are you procrastinating on getting out there and socializing and dating? And I actually know a lot of people who do that, and they make up all the excuses in the world for why they don't have time, they don't have this and that. When you break it down, they have a fear of being hurt.
Yes.
They have a fear of falling into love because they might get hurt on the other side.
100%. Now, let me look at some of your comments and make this obvious for you all. Kelly Goldowski says, getting to the studio and working on my craft, something I love, but not believing in my possibilities.
There you go.
So, Kelly has a fear of success.
Yep.
Okay? Cecily, I always procrastinate getting stuff together for taxes. There is a bottleneck of energy related to finance and money, right? We've made this story very clear before. We have been on the brink of bankruptcy, and now we're not. So we've traversed the whole thing. Last year, we had to write a check to the federal government for like $120,000 in taxes, and I couldn't have been happier. Why? Because that means I made a lot of money.
Right.
But you got to appreciate, Cecily and everybody else, 3 years ago, I would have been paralyzed by knowing I had to write that check. And I probably would have procrastinated on going to my accountant for weeks.
Right.
So I wouldn't even have to know how much the check had to be.
Sure.
So fear of money, fear of financial stability, fear of not having enough of it, these are some of the most common fears we all face. Dana Powell, I have procrastinated in setting goals, and I have procrastinated in taking responsibility for how I choose to think. Fear has kept me in avoiding responsibility. Well, you know what? Can I speak to that one for a second, Dana? This is one of the most common ones we see. We have a client. He's in Iceland named Helgi. Wonderful guy. He read a book all about quantum physics and how really and truly the life you have right now is nothing more than what you've created it to be in your mind to this point.
Right.
Which means your life in a year or 2 years is going to be a product of what you start thinking right now. So that is a liberating book, isn't it? That's an empowering book. But he walked away from it deathly afraid because he realized that the pen was in his hand.
Right.
And he didn't want to take the responsibility of writing the life he wanted because he was afraid of failing.
Yeah.
See my point?
So common.
See, when you start to assess what you're procrastinating about, what you're overthinking about, you can just kind of get to the point where you realize you're afraid.
Yeah.
What are you afraid of?
You know, I agree, obviously, and I want to address what Lisa McDonald just said. So, 1 second.
Sure.
She said, fear of procrastinating, putting herself first. Now, I'm not going to address the setting the goals part, but I want to address the procrastination of putting yourself first, because I can relate to that one big time. As a recovered people pleaser, I would find every excuse in the book and what I would at that point in time rationalize as a reason rather than excuse why it was okay for people to treat me badly, why it was okay for so-and-so to do this to me, or this situation, I could tolerate it just a little bit longer. But really, when it comes down to it, I love what Lisa said, because it is a procrastination of putting yourself first.
Sure.
Right? So, and I think a lot of people can relate to that. And it's not something that, necessarily comes off as one of those obvious procrastination points, right?
Yeah. I'm going to loop back around for a second, because now we've taken step number 1, which is understand your ego role, understand your bound nature, complexity. What are you afraid of? That vaults us to number 2. What's the second step? Increase self-awareness. Now, watch. Michael Hedke makes a great comment. Failure is scary. Yeah, I fear success too. I know I can help. I just don't know where to begin. It's just the jump. But listen to the first sentence. Failure is scary. Okay, now, the next comment is Steve Montefinesse. Feeling like I don't really know what to focus on. If I do X, I have to ignore Y. But Y is important too, and so is Z. Do you find yourself in those comments? Honestly, give us comments or hearts right now. If what Michael and Steve just said, you go like, yeah, that's me. Okay? But that right there is a glowing example of step number 2. Increase your self-awareness. Every single time Michael Hedke says to himself or to us or to his wife, failure is scary, he locks in that story. Every single time. Every time Steve starts to overthink, well, I don't know what to focus on. If I focus on that, then I can't focus on that, and that's important, and so is that. These are overthinking, procrastination tendencies, right? But you want to know a secret? You don't ever know how it's going to end.
Surprise!
You don't ever know. You never know how it's going to end. Last night, we were all, the 4 of us, Carrie, myself, and our 2 kids were sitting downstairs in the living room talking. You know what we realized? We realized that last night was exactly 4 weeks to the day that we jumped. We left Montreal, left our home, and moved into this house. We had no idea how it was going to end. But here we are, 4 weeks later. And we've made it work. You never, ever, ever know how it's going to end. But that is not a reason to start or not to start. That is the point of self-awareness.
Absolutely.
You've got to hear that language. You've got to hear yourself say failure is scary. Because you know what, Michael? Failure is not scary. Was anybody here yesterday? Failure is a lesson that bleeds into success. In the absence of those lessons, you won't ever know how to succeed. But if you were here yesterday, you remember me saying this. We are born of stardust, bitches. The heavens exploded and sprinkled stardust down on this earth, and that's what made us. Failure is not scary. Dying without ever trying is scary. That's what's scary. This is now step number 2, increase your self-awareness. How are you talking to yourself?
Absolutely. Which, learn your language. I think we've been talking about that, but I actually want to address that, because I think that, what you just said is, it obviously, it's a given, right? If you spend all your time procrastinating and not starting, well, you're never going to get anywhere, right? You're always going to be in the exact same position, frustrated that you're not where you want to be. And I want to come back to the very first point that we were talking about. We were talking about the whole bound nature and free nature. It really comes down to, is it serving you or isn't it serving you? Michael Hedke, I'm just calling on you because Brian used the example.
And because, you know what, kudos, respect to Michael. He puts himself out here every single day. He knows we're not singling him out. I have so much respect for that man because he just says what he feels. And I love that about him.
Absolutely. So, Michael, I'm just going to ask you, is being afraid of success serving you, or is being afraid of failure serving you?
That's it.
Like, and you don't have to go further. Like, you're not allowed to answer anything more than a yes or a no, because anything more than a yes or a no is now overthinking.
Yes.
Right? So if people say,
Right.
because people often, well, is it serving me? Maybe it's serving me to spend a little bit more time thinking about this or pondering that or da-da-da. But in the end, yes or no. Is it serving you? If it's not serving you, you need to stop. You need to increase awareness. And then you have to do probably what's our step 3, to be honest with you, which I'm not going to jump into yet. But everybody can answer that question.
Absolutely.
We're not, like, let's face it, like, no matter how much your language is negative, we are not delusional.
Yes.
We know if we're stuck.
That's increasing self-awareness. That's number 2. Is what you just said to yourself, Steve Montefinesse. Well, I don't know what to focus on. If I focus on, is that serving you? If it's not, stop.
Yeah.
And okay, so now what we're talking about in step number 2, increasing self-awareness, is learning your language, understanding if it's serving you, and stopping if it's not. But here's what that's called. It's called a pattern interrupt. Okay? So, we have brain synapses. We have an unconscious story based on language, right? Every single time we allow ourselves to say failure is scary. Every single time we allow ourselves to debate, should I do this, should I do this, should I do this, but what about that? Every time we allow it to go unchecked, we regroove those brain synapses stronger. We intensify the unconscious language even more. We absolutely must stop. In the moment we sense the language, we hear the language, we type the language, we must take a moment to pause, increase our self-awareness, and say, you know what? That is how I feel, but it's not serving me. And we leave it there. Now, what does that do? Does it change everything in a day? No. No, because we're realists. We're not fucking manifestors who are trying to pound fucking fairy dust up your ass and say, all you have to do is find internal alignment and everything's going to be fine. That's a load of shit. It's a load of shit. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience, but that physical experience is real. So yes, we're going to tap into the spiritual side. We've already taught you how to do that. But this is about the physical domain. Every time you pattern interrupt, every time you catch it, you increase your self-awareness and you stop it. Okay? What you're doing is you're reprogramming your brain synapses and your unconscious language to not keep saying those things. That is step number 2. You make it so that you pattern interrupt on a regular basis. Guess what? The pattern stops happening. That's the key. Let's eliminate your limits. That is our company's tagline. Why? Because success is not about learning how to become successful. It's about releasing from the reasons you're not. And the reasons you're not are because you allow these patterns to keep going day after day after day. All we have to do is start interrupting them. And when we interrupt them consistently, they stop. Then we can regroove new patterns.
Yes.
Woo!
I'm glad you kept going there, because I was writing as you were going. Okay, I want to add a few things to this, okay? So
Hello, Courtney from Nebraska. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay, it's okay. So I want to say something, okay? Because Brian mentioned this when he was talking about interrupting, right? You're going to draw awareness to that language. I think the mistake that people make is they have the expectation that what's going to happen when you draw that awareness to that language and you interrupt it and you catch it is that it's going to make whatever emotion you're feeling go away. So let's just say, for example, I'm feeling anxiety and rage. Okay, and then I draw attention to my language. Oh, this is the language that is bothering me. I interrupt it. But wait a second, Carrie and Brian, I'm still feeling that, right?
Yes.
And you just addressed that, right? So I want to say, again, like, it doesn't necessarily mean that the emotion's going to go away right away.
Right.
But it's a process of continuing to do that over and over and over again. But I want to bring that back around to the whole notion of feeling quote unquote pain, right?
Yeah.
We as a society, like, we have this like fear of allowing ourselves to feel. Let's think really and truly about anxiety. Like, I'm going to say like 99.9% probably of people who felt anxiety, rage, emotion, sadness. Has it really ever done anything incremental to your life that's caused your life to be debilitating?
Yeah.
The answer is no. The answer is that we've all felt anger, pain, frustration, sadness. We've all felt it. In the moment, it's felt like the worst thing imaginable, but then we're able to move past it and it's gone, right? So maybe when you feel that the pain and the anxiety or the bound nature that comes along with the thoughts, you don't have to freak out. Maybe we have to simply accept it and say like, okay, you know what? I got this.
Yeah.
No big deal. And stop layering on
That's it.
all this negativity of like, oh no, I'm doomed. Oh no, what am I going to do?
Sure.
How am I going to get out of this? It changes everything.
Look at that. That's a mic drop all by itself. And I want to bring it home by saying this. And we've talked about this, okay? Emotional physical pain. Real emotional physical pain is a mechanism of fight or flight.
Right.
Meaning when we are in real danger, it's emotional physical pain that we then need to respond to. Everything else is bullshit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that was too crass, but it's bullshit. Mm-hmm. Every time we get sad or upset about anything that isn't about immediate danger, we're creating that emotion. Mm-hmm. We're supplicating to what we think we're supposed to feel.
Yep.
Versus allowing ourselves the honor of choosing what the fuck we want to feel.
Right.
So that is exactly what Carrie just said.
Mm-hmm.
Pain is not a bad thing. You give your pain a definition.
Absolutely.
You give it a name. You give it an intensity on 1 to 10.
Yep.
Pain doesn't come pre-packaged with intensities or names or definitions. That's why we don't define bound nature and free nature as good or bad.
Right.
Because nothing is really good or bad in this world outside the definition we choose to place on it. Bound nature is non-serving. Free nature is serving. Bring self-awareness to that and you're halfway there.
Yeah.
So listen, I'm going to take a break. We're going to relax for a couple seconds. We're going to hope we're earning this for you guys today. I think we're beating the fuck out of this. So I'd love to get some hearts and some comments. If you're liking where we have gone so far and where we're going next is step number 3, which to me is actually the big one, the huge one.
Right.
Number 1 and number 2 set up number 3. Mm-hmm. It's like you can't get to number 3 without number 1 and 2.
Right.
But when you appreciate number 1 and 2, number 3 is the home run. It's the grand slam.
Right.
You've been waiting to hit. But before we go there, we'd love some shares. We'd love you guys to get this in your news feeds. Tell the world who doesn't procrastinate, who doesn't overthink, and this is the antidote.
Absolutely.
But here's what I want to say. About 75 or 80 minutes ago, the lovely
I love that.
I love her. She made a great comment. She said, you know, it was related to change and growing and increasing, but she's been essentially stuck for 20 years. Okay? Stuck for 20 years. And she's not the only one at all, right? But what we're about to go through with step number 3 next is the real, like, linchpin to it all. And I'm building it up for a reason. I want you to understand, like, I want this anticipation cycle right now to really get inside you and go, okay, look, I'm going to pay attention to this one. Because it's huge. And it's actually not dissimilar to something we taught you guys on Friday.
Right.
Okay? So how are our comments? Are we loving this so far?
Comments are great. And I just want to address what Dana just said. Because Dana just said, I had so much shame for the thoughts that were going on. And it used to keep her in the victim mode. You know what, Dana? You are not the only one. I cannot begin to tell you the number of people who reach out to us or who we're coaching or whatever the case may be who feel so ostracized from the world and so isolated because they have these thoughts and these feelings. But listen to me, like, guys, we're all here together, and if there's anything this crew is it's vulnerable. Clearly, you can tell you're not the only one.
Look at Jeff Patton's comment, Dana, right below yours. I used to curl up in a ball and hide.
Yeah.
Now I feel that feeling and I breathe. Carrie used to curl up in a ball and scratch at herself. I used to hit my own face and bang my head against walls. Like we all have that inside of us. And it's like, no one's alone. If anyone really wanted to be vulnerable right now and say, look, this is what I do, or this is what I've done. I'm not joking. I have taken a closet door, right? And swung it into my head like 4 times in a row, cutting open my head and needing stitches. I've walked into our kitchen, this is, 6 years ago now, to carry curled up, lying on the floor, scratching at our own arms, and the noise that I could... It was like a cat in heat. It was like a low roar. And if I had to define the sound, pain. Yeah. That's what it sounded like. We've all got that inside of us. What this is about is learning that A, that's okay, and B, how to take control of it, because you can.
Yeah. You know, and I have got to just say this right now, because, you know, that's some real shit, right? Like, that's, like, how many quote-unquote coaches, gurus, experts, whatever, sit and really share this depth with you, right? And I want to say there isn't that many, because it's a vulnerable place for anybody to be, right? Yeah. But I think
it's a lot easier to promote your yacht on Facebook.
Right.
You know?
I think it's time that we all shed light on the darkness for real.
Because this is what healing is.
For real. Yes. And provide the tools to get out of that position, as opposed to leaving you isolated, feeling alone, feeling like you're never going to be able to come up for air again. Yes. Right?
Exactly. It's unbelievable. You know, Carol, you added an LOL at the end of that comment. I retreat from my world and then yell at myself in the mirror. I'm going to take the LOL off of that, because that breaks my heart, but I'm so proud of you for saying what you just said. Yeah. And can I tell you something? Who can't relate to that? Mona's already commented she does the exact same thing. Like, we can all relate to these things, right? So look we have to appreciate that there's bound nature, there's free nature. One is serving, one is not serving. And we have to understand that when we are procrastinating, it's avoidance behavior. What are we afraid of? When we're overthinking, it's an avoidance behavior. What part of our ego is driving that? What are we afraid of? What are we avoiding? Okay? Then we increase self-awareness by understanding that if it is bound nature, which is so easy to source out, all you have to do is ask yourself a question: is this serving me? Mm-hmm. You know it's not. Well, then you have to pattern interrupt it. You have to increase self-awareness enough to a level that in the moments that you're procrastinating and you're overthinking, you have to decide to stop in that moment. Mm-hmm. Stop the overthinking and get action-oriented on the procrastination. That ends or begins to end the pattern that you're grooved into right now. There's some accountability and responsibility there, though. Yeah. You got to do it. If you don't do it, you're going to come back on this show in 6 months and say it didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to tell you, well, you didn't do it.
Right.
Right? Can I tell you what the human characteristic is? Predictable. Mm. We don't think we're predictable. We are. We act and react to stimulus in a predictable way.
Right.
When we stop the patterns that are forging a bound nature response, when we consistently stop them, the reaction is predictable. We start to do better. Yeah. It's predictable.
Right.
So what is 3 and final? What is the third phase? Are you ready? We call it flip the gap. Okay? Mm-hmm. Sound familiar from Friday's show? Mm-hmm. We said mind the gap. The reason we like the gap concept is that there's always more than one gap. And the problem is we're always looking at the wrong fucking one.
Right.
Right? So if you remember from Friday, your goals are over here, you're over there right now, and this is where you're coming from. You're always looking at this gap. How much farther you have to go, how much more work it's going to take. What you need to look at is this gap, how far you've already come. Because that creates momentum, it creates optimism, it creates like a healthy pride of what you've accomplished. Mm-hmm. And when you put that in the top of your mind on a regular basis, it's contagious.
Right.
You keep going. So here's my question to you. What gap are you looking in? And I'm going to answer it for you. This is the gap you're looking in. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I look at my finances because I'm paying my bills now and realize that I don't have any money?
What if I look like an idiot?
What if I look stupid? Trying. Mm-hmm. What if I try to put myself first and end up doing something bad, hurting myself? Mm-hmm. That's the gap you're looking in, okay? But here's the one question that basically encompasses the other gap. Mm. What do I stand to gain if I do this? How about that? How about you answer that question?
Yep.
How about you put your energy and your focus and your attention on that question? What do I stand to gain, even if it's potentially?
Right.
What do I potentially stand to gain if I do this? And you know what you're going to find out? Well, I'll learn what I don't like. And that's an important ingredient to success.
Yep.
I'll learn that failing really isn't so bad. It's just a learning experience.
Yep.
I'll learn that I didn't manage my money well. And I got two choices. Keep doing that or get better at it. It's the other gap that nobody looks at. We are too busy fixated on the gap of fear, anxiety, worry, stress. We forget there's a whole other gap. And that gap has one question. What do I stand to gain? Answer that.
Yeah, this is one of my absolute favorite tools, to be honest with you, because you can actually use it. I mean, you can do this like on the go in your head, right? But you can actually sit down and work through this exercise. Like if you're finding yourself really stuck, and it's so simple. Like you can actually write down, okay, like all the what ifs. If you want to list out all the what ifs that you're being fearful of, list them out. But then literally write out. And so many people are like, okay, how do I flip the gap? How do I do it? And you get so confused. It really is simple. What if it works? Or what will I gain? Or what do I stand to gain?
That's the question.
The list will be, you know what? I might be happier. I might find love. I might lose weight. My finances, I might become more financially stable. Because in the end, you're looking at two lists that there's really and truly neither one of them you have predicted or you can predict, right?
Yes.
So why would you not lean towards the one that serves you?
You don't know how it's going to end. So why do you keep drawing this conclusion that it's not going to end well?
Exactly.
Go the other gap. What do I stand to gain? There's going to be a long list. Carol Wood just made a great comment. We're changing one word. As opposed to repetitively asking yourself, what do I stand to lose?
Yep.
What do I stand to gain? Now, I want to say something, okay? So let me tell you this from an entrepreneurial perspective. Carol Wood, Billy Reuter. There's a lot of entrepreneurs on this call. Jeff Patton, okay? If you find yourself not making the sales calls, not quote-unquote closing the way you should, want to, know you can, etc., etc., there is not one, none, zero entrepreneurial books, programs, or coaches who exist in the world that can teach you how better. The whole reality is taking action. So if you aren't doing what you need to do in order to have a successful business, tactics, strategies are not going to help. An improved mindset is all that matters.
Right.
So what do you stand to gain if you start making these sales calls? What do you stand to gain if you start doing this or that? Re-engineer the question. Turn it into a positive outcome as opposed to a negative one. Build it as a potential, not an automatic defeat. Watch your fortunes change.
Completely.
That was entrepreneurs, but I could have applied exactly what I just said to people seeking relationships.
Absolutely.
I could have applied it to people in fitness. I could have applied it to people who are afraid of money and don't want to look at their bills.
Yep.
Everything I just said is exactly true across the board. You really don't need another Susie Orman book to figure out your finances. You need to ask yourself better questions on a regular basis. You need to flip the gap. What do I stand to gain if I actually go through this properly?
Right.
You don't need another how-to.
Yeah.
You just need a better mindset. But we just showed you how to achieve that. So here's my question, my challenge. Who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it? I'd like to see some hearts and some comments.
Who's going to flip their gap?
Yes. Yes, this is the most liked live video yet. Apparently we killed it today. I'm impressed.
Look at that.
Yes. Brings me to my last point, but no one go anywhere. Last point, I got 2 last points, so you don't even know what they are yet.
Neither do I.
Yes, you do.
Yes, I do. I'm just joking.
That's why. No, but I'm being dead serious, okay? Because look, we have had so many people worldwide become involved in our Let's Eliminate Your Limits, How to Finally Achieve the Goals You Set program. And we have had a lot of private messages saying, I really want to do this, but I don't know if I can. I'm not sure I can afford it. And look, we don't shame people into buying shit. It's just so fucking not who we are. But what we're going to ask you to consider, whether you're one of the people who've messaged us or not, about, I don't know if I can do this, can I afford it, etc. What do you stand to gain if you take this program on and do the work that we have shown you works? We made it work in our lives. We've translated it to our kids. We've used it on Olympic athletes, professional athletes, high-end entrepreneurs, corporate CEOs, families in distress, addicts. I don't know how many more ways to prove to you that this works. So I think it was Lovely who said 1 million years ago now, I'm the one in my own way.
Yep.
My friends, you're only ever the only thing in your way. So what do you stand to gain by doing this program that now we have proven works? And we've sweetened the pot. This is a standalone program you do on your own. You can come to Brian and Carrie in the morning any day. Get involved, ask us questions, learn more. But we've sweetened the pot by giving you 4 weeks of coaching with us for not 1 penny more.
Right.
Right? Now listen, we have kids. Kids eat food and food costs money. So we love money. Money's a beautiful thing. But we're offering you the opportunity of coaching with us for 4 weeks for no cost because we fucking care.
Right.
Because Carrie was the girl on the floor scratching in her arms. And I was the guy throwing my head into a closet door. We've been there. We know the way out. And all we're trying to do is say, look, just follow us. Just walk beside us. We know how this is done. Yeah. So at some point, we're going to put that. You already put it in?
Can I put it in now? Because I want to, somebody asked.
Yeah, Carrie's going to put the link in right now. Go get it. You have 13 more days to get this process in your hands. 14 days from now, we start the 4-week coaching process, which is free. How much more can we possibly make this easy? So there, the link is there. It's all there. And I'm excited for you all as much as I'm excited for us to have the honor and privilege of working with you.
I couldn't agree more. And I have got to address something that Stacey Hossel said, because she's the one who just said, where do we sign up?
Yeah.
But several comments ago, when we were talking about procrastination, Stacey made the comment that she eats her emotions away.
Oh,
right?
Wow. Beautiful comment.
But then, Stacey, this is so powerful. Then Stacey said, I have over 100 books on healthy eating.
Right!
Does that not make the exact point? You don't need another book on how to eat healthy. You don't need another book on how to make more money. The how-to has taken care of itself. We all know how to make more money, how to lose weight, how to eat healthier, how to find love, all of those things. The mindset that you are approaching all of that with is and always will be the linchpin between you and your success. Every single time. Great. And Stacey, thank you. Because that's exactly right. You don't need another book on how to invest your money. You don't need another book on how to eat healthy. You don't need another book on how to create healthy recipes. You don't need another book on how to build a healthy business. You don't need another book on how to find true love. You need to learn to get the fuck out of your own way. Yep. To eliminate the bottlenecks. To understand your ego roles, to appreciate boundaries, your free nature, to increase your self-awareness and pattern interrupt, and then start filling the other gap, which is, what do I stand to gain? So let me tell you, there have been 1 million. Me, where's the link? Yes, please, 1 million comments. So are we going to do it? Because we have 13 more days to show you how fucking worth your time this is. Absolutely. But I hope we did a good enough job today. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, I just want to tell a really quick story that leads into it's a story that relates to what Stacey was expressing, but it talks about the foundation of all of this. You know, I had a coaching client one time who came to me because she had body image issues and binge eating, and like a significant binge eating situation, right? And I said to her, I said, okay, well, if we're going to work together, you have to understand that we're approaching this from mindset. We're not approaching this from what you're eating and what you're not eating. Yeah. From the day she started with me, 3 days later, for the next, until now, to be honest with you, and it's been 1.5 years, she has not binged 1 time. Right. 1 time. And we did not change her nutrition plan or educate her anymore on how to eat.
Absolutely.
We worked on what was up there.
I want to tell you something, guys. Classically, I'm a teacher. And classically, Carrie's a counselor. So I don't mind saying this in all respect to Carrie. She's like a magician. Okay, so she brought up one example of a binge eater, which is a very serious affliction. But how about an alcoholic? Mm-hmm. How about somebody who's been an alcoholic for 15 years and 7 days a week drinks themselves to sleep? Mm-hmm. Even though they're married and have kids, drinks themselves to sleep and doesn't remember one day from the next, doesn't recognize her, her sons and her daughters half the time. Like, it was serious. 3 months of coaching with Carrie, she hasn't had a drink in how long?
Oh my God, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah.
2 years sober after 15 years of one of the worst alcoholic stories I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I don't care if your problem is money. I don't care if your problem is alcoholism, eating, weight loss, fitness, self-love, finance. This is the answer.
Yeah.
Because this is what the limiting factor is. So guys, did we rock the fuck out of this today? Can I get some hell yeahs? Some, where my crew at?
Crew!
Yes! I'm expecting to see a bunch of people who, Ann says here, she signed up and started listening to the videos. It's great stuff. Thank you, Ann. I'm hoping to see a lot of people who are going to be joining us for that 1 month free coaching.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay? And here's very important stuff. Y'all ready? Who's going to come to our house on Saturday, May 6th?
Yes.
Who wants to come and hang out with us and sit right behind us in a live studio audience for a filming of Brian and Carrie in the morning, and then spend the next 8 to 10 hours here with us in our home, asking questions, having nice conversations, lots of hugs, lots of laughter. We'll have food, we'll have drinks. And you know how much you have to pay for that? Not a damn thing. We just want to invite you to our house. Who wants to come to the first International Crew Day? Who's coming? I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know as well.
Who wants to know? Who wants to know? Who's coming?
Lisa's coming.
Yeah, Lisa's coming.
I think I saw that Lisa and Maureen, there's a whole bunch of people from Montreal who are organizing it.
Yes.
Listen, if you're watching and you want to the information on Crew Day, to our Brian and Carrie page, pop us a message and just say details, please, and I'll shoot you over the information.
This is not a website. We're not selling anything. No. There's no where do I find a link to get more information. If you're serious about taking us up on an invitation to come to our house and spend Saturday, May 6th with us for 8 to 10 hours, hanging out, drinking some nice wine maybe, having some nice food, being in the studio audience, asking us questions, having some hugs. If you're serious, just drop us a private message. We'll get you back the information right away, and then you have to RSVP.
Can't wait.
That's it. That's all.
It's going to be fun.
Crew, says Frank Guerrero. Caitlin's coming.
I believe Caitlin's coming from Nova Scotia. I believe
that's
you know what? Awesome.
Which means that everybody who said, "Oh, I wish I could," your excuse is now invalid.
And Lynette's coming from Berea, Ohio. She confirmed yesterday as well.
Lynette is coming from Ohio to the mountains of Quebec. Your excuse is now invalid.
And Steve and Tammy Montfinesse are coming from Chicago. It's a 17-hour drive.
A 17-hour drive.
And they're driving. That's awesome.
Your excuse is officially invalid. Can I tell you one more thing?
Yeah.
Every business we've ever created has been based on relationships. It's been based on getting to know people and establishing real friendships. Ask anybody who's been around us for a while. Tiffany, Lisa Arsenault, Lynette, Victoria Sparks. Oh my God, I love her.
I was just going to give a shout out to Victoria.
Love you. Okay, but we're a relationship-centric business, right? Which is why we're not charging anybody to come to our house. We're going to pay for the food, for fuck's sakes. Like, we're going to come out of our pockets to entertain the people who want to get involved in Brian and Carrie in the morning. Yeah. But I want you to understand something, okay? I really do. The people you associate most closely with in life become your circle of influence.
Right.
And as they go, your life goes. So I really want you to second guess it's kind of an expensive flight. Or, oh, gee, I really wish I could, but I have some kind of weird shit that I'm pretending is a real excuse, but it's not. Like, look, if you don't want to come to our house for free and enjoy this beautiful home and food, like, no, it doesn't make our socks go up or down. Like, it is what it is. But I want you to really carefully consider people who are pretty good at this whole life thing offering you for free to come to their home, to enjoy some time, space, and energy. Yeah, if I was offered that, something significant would have to be in the way for me to say, oh, geez, really wish I could.
Right.
Something to consider. So, yeah.
And a shout out to Cousin Pat, who is here for the first time, in time.
Cousin Pat! Cousin Pat's an American hero.
He is an American hero.
My cousin's an American hero.
I love Cousin Pat.
He's a beautiful, dutiful police officer in Ohio, does his job well, does his job right, wears the blue with pride, And all the people who complain about the police, yeah, you're the first person to call them when shit goes wrong in your life. But you got a problem with them every other moment of the day. I find that unacceptable.
Mic drop right there.
Cousin Pat's a hero.
Oh, what a great show today,
yes.
guys.
Lori is here.
Hi, Loria.
Yes, Cousin Pat, we miss you as well. And Cousin Pat, I don't know if I'm prepared to hear carpooling as a reason y'all coming to the October retreat. So I might give you a call one day soon.
Oh,
yes.
man.
Woo! This
Awesome.
was a great show.
Great
Love
show.
you all. Come back tomorrow. Always. Epic shit.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Mwah.
Mwah.